Today on the program, mess up on the national anthem at a Hoosiers game and you might pay $25. And Josh gives us a call from Michigan about Ron Paul and how to change my mind.
You know, I'm not sure why they call them kidney stones. I think they should call them kidney boulders.
Hello and welcome to the program. I'm your host, Fat Man.
And I'm Little Boy.
And this is our weekly podcast, netcast, for actually the first one of 2012.
Yes, it is.
I hope that next year we're doing a 2013.
We will. We'll be doing one.
I know we will.
Yes.
But I know that you're actually upset with the Mayans because they messed up your days off.
Yeah, that's right. They messed up my days off. I didn't get any days off because of Christmas and New Year's both fell on the weekend, and so I lost my days off this year. I only get a few, and I lost them. So, yeah. I caught so much crap because we decided to take 1 week off in between Christmas and New Year's, and I caught so much.
I know.
So much for not doing one show. It was unbelievable. People kept saying, "Oh, really? You're going to have another show? Is that it? Are you guys done now?" You know, a lot of sarcasm.
Well, to be honest, I haven't even been posting on my side of the website. I kind of just took that week off.
Yeah.
You know, we had new shows coming through that we had to talk to people. We had changing again here at the studio, and it's tough because there's just you and I.
Right.
Really?
We're growing. We're growing fast, and we're doing everything we can to keep up right now.
We have another show.
It's very exciting.
We have another show that'll be airing Friday evening, possibly before our show, which normally airs on Friday. But we're going to be moving till Tuesday night.
Right. Next week. This week we might not go till Friday or Saturday is when ours is going to go up, depending on how long the editing takes and all of that stuff.
It just turns out that the production staff here is very small, so the editing takes time, and of course our studio is actually not as small as it was. I mean, it's quite a bit larger.
Yeah.
But it's impossible to do all the shows for the weekend, which I liked ours being on the weekend, but ours isn't as time sensitive.
No, we talk about all sorts of stuff.
The sports shows are much more time sensitive.
They're talking. Now, great show. I sat in for one of them. And it was great. It was real fun. Real fun watching somebody else,
do the work.
Yeah.
And tonight, my gosh, the new studio lights are so hot. I'm like sweating. Sorry, everybody out there. All right, well, we have a lot to talk about. We actually have a special guest that's going to come on today about Ron Paul. Everybody knows how I feel about Ron Paul.
Well, yeah, we got to hear a lot about how much you are not a big fan of Ron Paul, and I personally am not I don't have a whole lot of Ron Paul knowledge. I don't really follow him, so I wasn't able to give that other side. But I was able to track down somebody who is.
And that's good. That's good. I'm ready for it.
He's going to be calling in. We're gonna take a little break later on, and after that, he's going to call in, and he's been a Ron Paul supporter for a while. I'll let him tell his little deal.
He should do it. It's very difficult. I'm interested to see how you defend Ron Paul. So
all right.
It's going to be a very interesting conversation either way because
something interesting before we really get into the show. Something interesting happened to me a couple weeks ago. Between our last show and this show, I remember a few episodes ago we were asking. I said I wasn't really feeling good. I thought I was fighting a kidney stone.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what happened?
Oh,
I passed the kidney stone. And let me tell you something. I'm not quite sure why they call it a kidney stone because this thing was a kidney boulder. I'd love to describe to you what it was like, but I can't. It was horrible. It was just horrible.
They say it's the closest thing to the pain of childbirth that a man
I
can
gave
feel.
birth. No, I did give birth. I gave birth to
a stone,
to a boulder.
To a boulder.
And you know what? It's not like a bowling ball. It's not like smooth like a bowling ball. No, it's like a shard. It's like a shard of glass. It's terrible.
You know, it's interesting. My grandparents used to talk about this all the time, and I'm Italian, so we eat a lot of vinegar. I mean, everything's got vinegar in it, and I love Italian dressing and a lot of garlic. And my grandparents said that people that eat a lot of vinegar don't get the stones.
I hate vinegar.
I know. And that's what's interesting.
I'll tell you what, if swigging vinegar will keep me from getting another one, I could figure that out, man. I'm down. That was terrible.
We have a lot of stuff to talk about today.
Yeah.
I definitely want to talk about our other shows. I definitely want to put out there a couple of feelers. We're still looking for some more talent.
Yep.
We are holding an open casting call.
Yep.
Right now, if you're interested, it's pmlbmedia.com. You can go to PMLB Media, and or you can contact the producers directly at producer@pmlbmedia.com.
You can also call us on the phone at 858-522-9164 and leave a message, and we will get back to you.
Yep, and so like I said, we're having an open casting call. We have quite a few sports shows now.
Yeah.
We are looking for another news show. We're looking for a
tech show.
Tech show for sure. I mean, you have to have a tech show.
Yeah, and a comedy. I think something comedy based would be really good too.
We have one person who's interested in doing some comedy stuff. So
yeah, so hopefully within the next few weeks we start nailing some of those down.
all right.
But,
well, you know what? You actually this week was I was so busy that you did a lot of the show prep. So why don't you bring us into the first articles?
All right. Well, the first article we found in the LA Times, and it says, "Show respect for the national anthem in Indiana, or you may be facing a fine."
I believe the fine's only $25.
$25.
Yeah.
It's the principle of the thing, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Now, one thing that the article does say is it's not that if you mess up while you're singing it. I think it's if you purposely change it. You know, the issue I have with this is who defines what that change is.
Well, actually,
I mean, when you listen to if you can change a specific lyric, but if you listen to somebody like Christina Aguilera sing it, she stretches out the words,
Yeah.
and so you could, I saw an old Mike Tyson fight a few months ago, and James Brown, no, not Mike Tyson, excuse me, it was a Muhammad Ali fight, and James Brown sang the national anthem, and he, to me, butchered the national anthem, just butchered it, but. I don't think that you should find somebody. I'm not for that.
Well, I don't think that's exactly what this is about. I mean, you could sing it any way you want to sing it. I think what it's supposed to do is try to keep the parody of it away.
Yeah, but why? Why? I mean, if you want to parody the national anthem, why shouldn't you be able to parody the national anthem?
Well, you know what?
Not that I want to. Not that I'd be interested in that.
There's
but,
certain things that you have to understand. They have tradition with them, and they should be respected.
You can say that about anything, though.
Yeah, but there's certain things that it stands out more than others. I mean, I don't like the burning of the flag, but that. The Supreme Court upheld it.
I don't like it either, but I'm not a big fan of saying you can't do it. If you want to do that, do that. But if somebody I know wants to burn the American flag, then that might not be somebody that I'm interested in being friends with.
Well, and
you know what I mean.
But the thing, did you remember? Do you remember? Because actually, the picture they have here is of Roseanne Barr. Do you remember she was here? It was here in San Diego.
Well, the owner of or the main executive producer of that show was a part owner of the Padres at the time, and so that's kind of how that all hooked up. But I remember her; she was trying to be funny, She was like one of those comedians who tried to be funny, but at the same time, kind of shock you a little bit.
It's funny because when she was doing that, there was Jerry Coleman was a.
He's still.
Is he still doing
He's
the Padres?
Still doing. He's doing. Yes.
Well, he's got to be 100 years old.
Maybe 105.
Wow. Anyway, he's a World War II veteran. He was a pilot. And after it was over, and he was here, he's the Padres announcer. And after Roseanne Barr was done, she got booed off there too.
She got booed.
Anyway, because this is a military town, So anyway, she got booed off. And afterwards, Ted Leitner was working with them, and he said, right now, Jerry wants to strafe Roseanne Barr across the stadium.
Well, see, the thing is, he can be offended by that, and everybody who watches that is allowed to be offended. If that offends you, be offended and decide, you know what? I am going to choose to not support anything that she does. I'm not going to watch her show. I'm not going to buy any comedy
specials.
Look what
happened.
Do that.
She lost her show within 2 years of that.
No, it wasn't within 2 years.
Oh, yeah.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, it was.
We can do some research on that, but
yeah,
that was not.
Go ahead.
It was not within 2 years. Anyways. But make that choice, but don't pass a law. You don't need to pass a law. You're the big guy on, I don't need all these extra laws.
I know.
And then, what's funny is you don't want extra laws unless it's something that you completely believe in. Then all of a sudden, let's pass a law.
Did I say any of that?
Do you want to pass a law that says you can't mock the national anthem?
No.
You don't?
No.
I thought you did. I thought you said that you started to make your argument with.
No, I'm just saying I understand where they're at it, but
Well,
it won't ever
it's
make
coming
it
from.
through the Supreme Court. So.
I understand where it's coming from, but I don't agree with it. I don't think you should pass a law. If somebody's going to mock the national anthem, let them mock it and let the people
Well,
decide.
I'm upset about it. If somebody mocked it and I was there
You're
while
allowed
they
to be
were
upset
doing
about it.
they
You're allowed
would
to be upset
definitely
about it.
hear from me about it.
That's
it's another
your right.
law.
It's taboo.
The problem is it's
now,
it's
would
taboo,
you would
big
you
time.
would you want to physically do something to them?
Depends on what they said.
Really? Somebody
Yeah.
could say something that would make you want to punch them in the face?
Oh yeah, you say that all the time. Makes me want to punch you in the face.
But you're able to control yourself.
I didn't say I would. You said
Okay.
would it make
I
you
changed
want
it.
to?
Okay, you're right. I phrase that again. Is somebody could say that would make you punch them in the face?
For the national anthem?
Yeah.
No.
You would let somebody's words make you get angry enough to punch them in the face?
I said no.
I mean, I'm not talking about national anthem now. I'm going beyond.
I'm very protective of my mother. Someone
yeah,
starts
but they don't
talking
even know
about
your
my
mom.
mother.
If I start saying, "Don't you be talking about my mama,"
Yeah, well, and that's what happens. And then,
but
I'm
they
different.
don't know your mom.
I'm not
you know?
like you.
If I start saying a bunch of stuff about your mom, and now we're
Hey, now. Oh, excuse me. Sorry, little boy. Let's not forget.
I'm sure that
I was so mad that your neighbor gave you trouble. I wanted to go chase him down. So yeah, words sometimes can get to me. For the most
yeah, but
part,
you
they
could get
don't.
mad about that. But
Yeah.
I mean, I have had situations where people have said something that have angered me, and you think in your mind, "Boy, I'd sure love to pop him right in the face."
Well, of course,
But
you don't because
I
you're
don't.
civilized.
yes,
Well,
I mean,
yeah. Hello.
I could never allow somebody to say something that would make me want to punch them in the face. I don't think I could.
Well, I think
That would make not make me want to. I keep saying make me want to. That would make me punch them in the face.
I've almost got you to that point a couple times.
That's
See, and you
never got me. You never got me to punch it, to really actually physically punch you in
Well,
the face.
that's you,
But
because you
let
don't
me
do
tell you
that.
something. I'm on the edge of wanting to punch you in the face most of the time,
I
anyways.
know. So
But I'm able to control myself. So the bottom line is then you actually you don't agree with the $25 fine. You think that's stupid?
it'll never pass.
I don't care if
Supreme
it'll
Court.
pass. Let's
And
not talk
like I
about
told
that.
you before, if the law goes into effect, I
Yeah,
support
but,
it.
I know, but let's see whether you agree with it or not.
No, I don't agree with it.
No?
I don't agree with it. I don't agree with the burning of the flag. The Supreme Court said it's okay. There you go.
Do you
I
think
don't
that there should be a law
agree-
against burning of the flag?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, because you know why? Here's what
just a flag. It's just
I
thread
understand.
and
I
color.
understand, but you got to understand. There is generations of people who have paid the ultimate price.
I absolutely
for the
understand
flag
that. But
and
if
have
the
paid
person
the ultimate price,
if the person who owns that flag, if none of that matters to them,
right?
then they should be able to burn it. If they own it, it's theirs.
Yeah,
As
but-
long as they are not doing something unsafe. I mean, if you know,
But the thing is respect.
well, but if they choose not to respect them, that's on them.
Well,
That's on them. You don't need to pass a law to make somebody respect a flag.
well, that's really funny that
If
you
they
say that.
choose
because-
not to respect
because
it, then
I
that's
don't.
them.
I
That's on
don't
them.
respect gay marriage, but yet you would sure love to have the law say they can be married.
That's a completely different.
No, not
that's a
really,
complete-
not
no,
really.
That's
It's-
allowing them. I'm making the same argument. You should allow them to be married. You're trying to stop them from being married.
No, I said
Yes, you
civil
are.
unions are fine, but that's not what you
You're
want.
trying
You
to-
want the word marriage.
I want everybody to be married. If civil union and marriage was exactly the same, then I wouldn't care.
I mean, well, and it is exactly the same. What's the difference?
I don't know. I think that there is difference.
No, there's no difference.
I think
it's
you're
the
wrong.
same.
Once again, I think you're wrong.
No, and you know what's funny about that is I think everybody should have the misery of marriage. But
Some people multiple times.
yeah, well, hey. But anyway, yeah, that's kind of where. I mean, I don't know. I don't want another law. I hate laws as they are. So what are you gonna do?
Yeah, but you say that, but it's not really true. You want laws that, as long as you want new laws created that back your beliefs. That's what you want.
So do you.
Well, I think everybody wants that, but
Well,
I'm
there
not
you
sitting. But I'm not sitting here spouting off that I don't want new laws.
I don't want any new laws.
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
you
it's
do.
Very,
But
very,
you actually do.
Very, very minimal amounts of laws that I like.
Sure, everybody has. Of course, everybody has laws that they like and don't like, but you want more laws. You do want more laws.
I do.
Yes,
Name them.
you want a law that outlaws abortion.
Yes, I do.
Okay, there's one new law right there that you want. So why
Okay.
do you say you don't want new laws when you do?
I don't want them. but we need
No,
that one.
we don't need it.
Yeah, we do.
You want it. You want it.
You know what's funny is you're right. Everybody is going to have their own
Right.
if they want something or.
And I don't have a problem with that. Just you spouting off all the time saying, I don't want new laws, I don't like new laws, but you actually do.
I would say less than 1%
Less than 1% what?
of the new laws that I like.
The hell does that mean?
Hey, it is what it is. I mean, I don't, well, first off, I don't defend myself to you. And that's the first thing. The second thing is truthfully, I think there's too many laws in the books. There's way too many laws.
There is.
Some
You
are
know what?
necessary,
Because
obviously necessary.
As time
And
goes by,
some-
things change. You need to add laws.
Yeah, but you need to drop off old ones.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, I have
maybe we
something
need
for
to
you.
start a committee.
I have something for you right now then.
Okay.
But we really need to get into the Ron Paul because I know he's waiting on
Right.
the line. But there's a law in Congress right now called the SOPA Act. Do you know anything about the SOPA Act?
You know, I saw it. I haven't. I wanted to. We weren't gonna. I'm really limited on how much research I can do, so I knew that I didn't think we were going to really talk about that, so I haven't dedicated any time to it. I
Okay.
actually want to because I think that we should get
It
into
affects you and I.
it. Okay.
We have our own servers, as anybody who's been on.
Oh, right, that Piracy Act.
Yeah, and it's the Piracy Act, but the Piracy
yes.
Act,
Al
the
Franken
SOPA Act,
Al Franken's hugely against that
everybody is. I don't know how it's even in Congress.
because big businesses want it, and that's who's making the laws in this country. Are the big corporations?
Okay, instead of getting off on the tangent, let me tell you what I'm talking about.
But that they get what they want.
So say one of our sports shows, and they do all of our shows, the sports shows have footage in the back that they run about football or baseball or MMA, whatever.
It's free. It's
well, it's not free.
No,
because
it's
what
what's
happens
the
is
term we had talked
it's
about?
called
before.
fair use.
Fair use. That's right.
Fair use. The fair use doctrine is the ability for you to use copyrighted work if you're doing commentary, or parody of it.
Right.
So that's how they get along doing it. The difference is with SOPA is you don't even get your chance to say your side of the story. It automatically gets taken down if the copyright holder doesn't want you to use it, and then you have to go to court to get it back. And I don't like that. Because also it can shut down your IP, and we have our own servers. PMLB Enterprises and PMLB Media has its own servers, and we host domain names, and it would basically shut down our IPs. We only have a limited amount of IPs that have for the server. It's a long story, and Tech has tried to explain it to me, but anyway, the
problem is we
Act-
don't have a large legal department to fight that right now.
No, actually, we have an attorney though.
I wouldn't consider him a legal department though.
No, he's not a department, and he's been on the show.
Yeah, that's right.
So, anyway, so the SOPA Act is a law that's not necessary, and that's what I'm talking about. You're either going to have a law that's absolutely going to and that would affect us.
It's going to
But some
give
people it doesn't affect, they don't care.
It's going to give the big boys an advantage over the small guys.
Yeah, because we're trying to build a brand here.
And that's how a lot of laws in this country unfortunately have started to steer, and we need to try to steer them back.
And how are you going to do
That's the whole
that?
Occupy movement. That's what the Occupy movement's about.
Oh, the Occupy movement is
The
now...
Occupy movement is fighting for you.
The
and fighting
Occupy
for
movement
me,
is gone.
And they're fighting for PMLB.
Okay, no, they're not.
They are.
No,
They absolutely
No,
are.
because let me tell you why.
They
let me tell
are.
you why they wouldn't be fighting for us.
They are.
Because we have sponsors, we have commercials.
Doesn't matter. They're not
No,
against
they don't
that.
like that.
They're
They
not against
don't
it. No,
like.
that's not true.
Yes,
Not
they
true.
are.
Not
They
true.
are against it.
Not true.
They're you know what? They're almost socialist
Nope.
to the point of communism.
Absolutely wrong.
Well, tell me when's the last thing they've done? They've done nothing. So, but we're not going to get on that because we got to talk to Ron Paul. I
Okay.
want to talk to not Ron Paul himself.
We're going to talk to Josh about Ron
Talk
Paul.
to Josh about Ron Paul. I really want to get to that.
All right.
And we're going to run a commercial. Now, these commercials don't turn off because you don't want to hear them. They're going to be one of us.
Yeah, it's going to be short, and we got to pay a bill somehow.
We got to pay a bill. So anyway, right after the commercial break, we'll be on the phone with Josh, and he's from where?
He's in St. Louis.
St. Louis. Josh from St. Louis. We're coming right at you.
Hi, this is Darren from Pound for Pound Sports Talk, radio show and webcast, and member of the PMLB Media family. We're holding an open casting call. Know anyone that's got a great tech, comedy, news, or any show idea? Email producer@pmlbmedia.com or call area code 858-522-9164. Thank you. And don't forget to check out our website, pfpsports.com.
All right, and that was Darren from PFPsports.com. I don't know why I want to say P2P.
I know.
You know, what is P2P?
It's like a little PlayStation.
It's a Nintendo thing,
it's
right?
A PlayStation. It's a
Yeah,
little mini PlayStation.
I don't know why I
thing.
say that all the time. Anyway, they have a great show on
PFPsports.com.
PFPsports.com.
Yes.
And they have a nice new studio. They actually have a nicer studio than us.
Nicer studio than us. Yes, they do.
But good for them.
All right. So, anyways, what I have is you had talked a lot about Ron Paul, about how much you did not like him.
Nope.
And I wasn't able to add anything to that, but I had a secret weapon. I have a friend from high school who is a Ron Paul supporter since about 2006, 2007.
Mm-hmm.
And, we graduated from high school and we grew apart, like you do with a lot of people from high school. And we kind of hooked back up through Facebook. And we haven't talked a whole lot, but we kind of see each other's posts. And I see he posts a lot of stuff about Ron Paul. So I contacted him, and he was interested in coming on and maybe talking to you, maybe setting you straight a little bit there, fat man.
There's no change in my mind, but that's fine. It's an open forum.
His name is
hear
Josh. I actually thought he was in St. Louis because he's a St. Louis fan, but St. Louis Cardinals fan. But I guess he's in Michigan. Josh, are you there?
I'm here.
All right, Josh. How's
Hello,
everything
Josh.
going?
Welcome to the program.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah. Anyways, I don't know if you got a chance to see what he said about Ron Paul in our last episode, but I know that most of Fat Man's problems with Ron Paul have to do with
Foreign policy.
which I'm sure you hear a lot about that, Josh, I believe.
Yeah. Yep. That's one of the major hang-ups I hear from a lot of, so-called conservatives or Republicans. So.
Yeah. So what do you think there, Fat Man? What's the first issue that you have with Ron Paul?
Well, it's funny because I don't. Ron Paul's been in office for quite some time, correct, Josh?
Yeah.
And
but
well, no, go ahead. Good.
Well, I'm hearing feedback from your side, so I can't.
Sorry about that. Anyway, he's been in office for quite some time. I think it's been over 20 years. And in that 20 years as a legislator, he's only actually passed one bill, which is fine, whatever, if you don't really want to do your job to that. But I don't understand how someone... I just can't understand the followers. So I'm glad you're on the show. Maybe you could explain to me what it is about Ron Paul that you see that you like.
I guess the first thing is, I'm gonna have to go back several years, and even probably before I even knew about Ron Paul, before I even heard the name, was I was probably actually a libertarian before I even knew what a libertarian was. I wasn't very much involved in politics at all, and it was sometime probably in 2006. I was on a web forum. I don't remember what it was for, and a debate came on, and we were just talking about just a mix of things: Constitution, personal freedoms, so forth, and someone had brought up, well, you should look at Ron Paul from what way you're talking. You should definitely look at Ron Paul and see if he's someone you want to support. So, did the whole internet thing, looked at YouTube videos, and you can go back decades and just by looking at his record, seeing what he's said a decade ago, and seeing how things have come true, and it's just really kind of hard to dismiss a lot of that information.
So basically, give us a point, something that you see that he said that's come true.
Well, probably the biggest thing is the economy, housing. That's the main thing. That's the main thing that's pretty much affecting everyone today. That anyone owns a house or has a job.
Yeah, and when the economy kind of crashed and stuff, a lot of people were saying nobody really saw that coming. But I guess there were a few people. He was one of the persons that was he one of the people that were kind of warning people against that?
Oh yeah, you can go on YouTube and just probably type in Ron Paul economy, or he was right, and you'll have several different videos from when he's talking on the floor of Congress, warning about excessive money printing by the Fed, so forth, and what that would lead to, and how that would spill over into the housing market, and is worrying about the bubble, in the housing market, way before as the bubble was even starting to be filled up.
Yeah. Well, I have a question for you, Josh. Do you own a home?
Yes.
And how long have you had your house?
Well, my one house I've owned since 02.
02. So since 02, have you ever refied that house?
No,
So you have the exact same mortgage from the beginning.
same mortgage.
So, and you never took a second or anything like that on it?
Oh, I did take a second. Yeah.
Okay. And so you took the second on it as what, a loan or as a credit line?
It was just a credit line.
Credit line. And with that credit line, did you purchase anything that was not necessary towards the house, meaning you didn't rebuild a kitchen or anything like that?
Oh no, it wasn't towards toys or anything like that. It was actually to pay off of debt.
Pay off debt. And the previous debt that you had was
For my previous marriage. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So it was to pay off debt. So you did use the system like most people did. And I mean, I'm not saying anything wrong on you. I'm just saying that anybody who isn't a complete and total idiot could see that we all got ourselves into trouble. You know, the country did itself wrong by allowing such cheap loans. I am a victim of that. Well, not a victim. I mean, shoot, I was a suspect of it because I sat there and used loans on my properties, and everybody did that. Now, here's the thing.
Nobody thought that the prices were going to go down. Everybody thought next year my house is going to be worth more, and
they're
next
gonna
year, and
go
it's
up.
never going to stop.
Right.
You know.
So when you have someone that's barking that, hey, this is bad, well, yeah, of course, and he's not the only one ever saying it. I do see that a lot of people give him tribute to that on YouTube. I like the stuff on YouTube. Little Boy will not expect the stuff on YouTube to be true because he says that the stuff on YouTube is anybody can do it. We put our stuff on YouTube.
Right.
And mainstream media, of course, they don't agree with the stuff that's on YouTube.
I don't use it to just. That's the only answer to my argument, like
Right.
you do.
Well, but that's all you could do if you were a Ron Paul supporter. There's really no hard-earned fact.
Well, there's
that
got to
is
be
straight
there's
out.
got to be video of him giving
of course.
speeches and stuff.
And there's also videos of him giving speeches when he was, he's an extremely racist individual. Maybe he isn't anymore, but he was. So you gotta look at that too. And I don't put it against the guy. If he wants to change and not be that way, great. But what I don't like is when people just, I'm not harping on Josh, but when people turn around and say, well, he saw it coming. Well, any idiot out there, if you didn't see it coming, you were an idiot.
Well, that's that. You're saying that in hindsight, though, because a lot of people, it's easy to say now you should have seen it coming, but people, nobody
a lot
really.
of people saw it coming.
I don't know how many.
You
nobody,
can't just say this is the only
there
person
wasn't
in the
a lot.
world who
There
saw it
wasn't a lot of
coming.
people. No, I agree with you there. He's not the only person in the world. But
Yeah, but
it
the
seems to
Ron
me
Paul
that
supporters say that he is the only one. Who
I'm not
stood
quite
up
sure that
in
that's what I hear.
Congress and say, hey,
That's not
Josh, is pretty much Ron Paul supporters say that anybody else saw what he saw?
Well, are you familiar with Peter Schiff?
I'm sorry, who?
Peter Schiff?
No, I don't think I am.
Peter
And,
Schiff?
I can't hear him very well.
I hear him a little bit.
You hear him? Yeah, sorry about that. I can't hear you that well.
Peter Schiff, you said?
Peter Schiff. S-C-H-I.
Oh, are you still there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we're working.
Lost you.
We're working through some bugs here. The budget's not that big.
Actually, normally our phone connections work fine. So,
Yeah.
but
Can you
anyway,
hear me still?
yeah,
Yeah, we can hear
I
you.
got you. We got you. So, okay, so Peter Schiff, go ahead, enlighten us.
Well, he's an economist. He owns his own. He's the founder and CEO of Euro Pacific Capital, the brokerage company. And in the last election, he's actually Ron Paul's chief economist or economic advisor. And I didn't learn about him probably until 08, 09. Almost until after the election occurred.
So, Mr. Schiff is the one who saw this coming. Is what you're saying?
He's the one that's written the books on it, and he leading up to the housing crash and during the bubble, and he was on Fox, CNBC, all the major networks, saying this is coming. This is what you need to do to get out of it. Look out, here it comes. And he was getting laughed off the air by all the other analysts. They were just kind of laughing at him, making fun of him, saying you don't know what you're talking about. And he was just giving detailed information. This is what's going to happen. This is how it's going to hit. And if you don't look out, you're just going to get wiped out. And sure enough, now there's videos of him, the montage of clips saying Peter Schiff was right. Just Google that and you'll see those videos.
Okay. So should it be Peter Schiff for president?
He's his advisor. Come on.
Well, I
He's
wonder.
He ran for Senate in Connecticut.
And how do you do?
But he didn't win that one.
So walk
I'm-
us through this,
Well,
Josh, real quick.
let's actually. I actually want to steer a little bit more because I know that one of your big issues with Ron Paul is
Yeah, and that's where I'm getting
foreign policy. Okay,
Yeah.
I'd like to move into a little bit of foreign policy.
So walk us to this, Josh. Ron Paul is president. What happens to the country?
That's hard to say. I mean, it's really hard to say. I mean,
What does he do?
Rick Van Dorn's president. I mean, what's the USA going to look like? I mean, it's really hard
Well,
to
I
say.
know, but
Why don't you tell us, hey, Fat Man? Why don't you tell us what you think will happen if Ron Paul?
No,
becomes
because I'm
president?
not a supporter. I want to know
I
what
know,
a
but I want you
supporter
to tell me
believes
what
will happen.
bad. I want you to tell me because you think all this bad stuff will happen.
Well, I don't think our country as a whole, anything will change at all. I think what'll change is the foreign policy. Because first off, well, he's not going to be president, but if he was, first off, he would not have either side of the House helping him, so there's nothing that would get passed. And you think Obama has a hard time. Anyway, but the other thing is, let's talk about foreign policy then. I guess that's what Little Boy's trying to get me into, so
Yes.
we'll get into foreign policy.
Well, that's where your issues are. That's what.
Well, yeah, but that's why I was asking him.
what
I
you've
wanted
done
to
all your-
ask.
that's what you've done all your barking
supporter.
about.
Anyway, Ron Paul is basically an isolationist. Would you agree?
Define isolationist.
United States only, and the heck with the rest of the world.
As in, let's close all of our borders. Let's not trade with anybody. Let's keep everything within the United States.
Yep.
Kind of isolationist.
Yep.
Okay, that's not exactly true, but
Well, that's it. Then enlighten me. That's why we're having this conversation. That's where I'm asking. So you tell me what that is.
well, he more advocates, free trade with everybody. Let's be friendly with all nations, not go to war with ones we don't like.
Okay.
That's just well, I guess the way and the quote he uses a lot is he uses Bush's, when he ran in 2000, he ran a humble foreign policy. Let's be friendly. Let's not just go out guns blazing against everybody.
Okay, so free trade. Would free trade include, in your estimation, would it include oil?
As in purchasing oil from any country?
Yeah.
I don't see why not.
Okay, good. So I don't know if you've been following the news or anything like that, but have you seen what's happening over in the Straits of Hormuz? Hormuz, excuse me.
Yeah.
So we
A
have,
little
we
bit,
have
yeah.
a country there that's not exactly friendly to the United States, who wants to slow down the ability for oil to travel up and down. So the question I have is, you have Ron Paul as president. He wants free trade, like you just said, and now you have another country, another state that is threatening to cut off that free trade. What do you do if you're Ron Paul? On what he says, not what you do, because I'm not quite sure what your views are, but I'm saying for the views that you hear that you're Ron Paul, what do you do?
What do you think he would do?
Yeah.
Well, I guess the first thing you have to ask yourself is, why would Iran even threaten to close the straits?
Okay. Why would they? Why do they?
I think that's the crux of the question right there is, why would they even threaten to close it?
Well, why would they say that? Why would they also say that they want the streets of America to run red with the blood of the people who live here? Why would they say that? Yeah, that's just what they say. But I mean, whatever. If you want to listen to that, you listen to it. If you don't, but the question is, you're just like President Obama is dealing with it right now. So now you're not President Obama. You're President Ron Paul, and this is happening. What does Ron Paul do?
Why not just pull our Fifth Fleet back, pull our military back out of there, and just let Iran do their thing?
Really?
Let them deal with their own neighbors.
Okay, so basically, don't have the free
because
trade.
all we're really doing is just saber rattling.
So don't do the
You know,
free
we're,
trade.
we're threatening to do a unilateral attack on them. I mean, why wouldn't they want to I mean, they're gonna wave their sword in the air too.
But you just got finished saying you.
He didn't say. He never said. He said pull our military out is what he said.
So you never. Yeah, our militaries are keeping the straits open right now. Did you know that or no?
No.
Okay. Anyway, so basically, you're saying that we can't have the free trade anymore with Saudi Arabia, not with Iran. We're not buying the oil from there, but by closing down the straits, they're closing down our ability to free trade, have trade with Saudi Arabia. So what you're saying is that if another country wants to stop us from having our trade with another country, we have to walk away from that? That's what you're saying?
What I'm saying is if Iran's threatening to close it off, you have to look at the reason why they're making those threats.
Okay.
And the reason why they're making those threats is because we're threatening them.
And we're threatening them.
Because of based on their civilian nuclear program.
Okay. Okay, hey, that's a great point. Let's continue with that, the nuclear program. So you believe that if they were not doing their nuclear, and you're saying civilian nuclear program.
That means like for power and
that's
stuff,
for
right?
power only. So you're okay with them having nuclear power for power only. Now, what if they did make a bomb? Do you have any problems with that?
I think with any country that just gets a nuclear weapon, I mean, personally, I would love to have no nuclear weapons across the world.
Okay.
Period.
Okay.
But, we're way beyond that. There's many nations that do. And if you look at the countries surrounding Iran, and including the bases that we have there, I mean, India has nuclear weapons, Pakistan has nuclear weapons, Israel has nuclear weapons, plus, combined with all the bases that surround them, as Ron Ball said, I mean, why wouldn't they want to defend themselves?
I have a question for you. I have a question for you.
Go ahead.
Is Iran, can you tell me and it's kind of a loaded question because I know the answer, but can you tell me the enemies that Iran has in their area?
They're enemies in the area.
Yeah, because what you're saying is, and what Ron Paul says all the time too, is why wouldn't Iran want to have a nuclear weapon to protect itself? Maybe you can enlighten us on the last time they've been attacked. Maybe you can say who their enemies are, and we can see why they need to have the weapon.
Well, wouldn't you, if you were surrounded by countries that had a nuclear weapon, wouldn't you want to have one too?
Because they're actually all in the same friendship. They're all in the same Muslim Brotherhood.
Wouldn't you want to have one too, though?
But do you think you have and this is the straight out question, there hasn't been a conflict there since the Iran-Iraq war.
So that means there never will be again?
No, but the difference is the countries that are enemies of Iran are kept at bay by who?
Us.
Yes. So you know why? They're never going to get attacked unless we do the attacking.
Well,
they have no reason.
What if they feel like they need protection against us?
They can feel all they want. They can feel all they want. But here's the thing. Here's the problem. They said if they get this, because you got to understand, Iran is not a democracy like here, right?
Right.
Iran has a president who's nothing. He's a puppet. The people who are really in charge are the clerics, and the clerics are the ones that say if a bomb is created, they will use it against us as soon as they possibly can.
You think Josh? You think that would happen?
No.
You don't think so?
I don't think so either.
It would be suicidal.
Well, they just tried to assassinate one of our ambassadors, and they were caught. Was that suicidal? Did we attack them because they did that? I mean, they were going to try to do it on American soil in New York City.
Yeah, that was kind of iffy. I mean, everything I read about that was even that's old news now. I don't hear anybody talking about that anymore.
Of course, because we foiled it. But the thing is, they were going to do it, and it was a foiled plan. And I gotta let it. I don't give Obama much credit for a lot of things, but I do have to give his administration credit for the fact that they found it and stopped it. So, the thing I have a problem with Iran is their clerics said and say I think there's 5 of them. They say they will destroy Israel, And we are Israel's friend and ally.
You think the day that they get an atomic bomb, they're launching it to Israel?
Absolutely.
You really think that?
Yes.
I don't think that.
Without a doubt.
I don't know, and you don't know either. I just don't. I don't believe.
No,
that's
but I
gonna
would take. But you got to understand that's well before the United States. The war between the Jews and the Muslims, that's thousands of years. So that's nothing that they can say. Well,
I think there's all these countries that have the nuclear bomb, but I think that everybody's afraid of what will happen if they do use it.
Yeah.
Because
But
I think
you-
the rest of the world will turn on. The rest of the world will turn on.
the rest of the world's against them now.
Yeah, I think it'll be bad. I think that they're smarter than that.
So that's my problem with Mr. Paul is the fact that you could turn around one way and say, yeah, I want free trade. But then when your trade is interrupted, because as much as I hate the fact that we're addicted to oil, as a country we are. So if we need to get oil from Iraq and we need to get oil from Saudi Arabia, we can't have another country saying, no, you can't have it. We're going to shut your production down. And then we can't say, okay, well, we'll just leave, because that's what Paul wants. You can't do that. And, the funny thing is you're in Michigan, correct?
Correct.
Pretty darn cold in Michigan, isn't it?
Not too bad.
Well, compared to San Diego, you were from San Diego. Come on. Today I was outside. It was 85 degrees.
Yeah, it was hot
So,
today. I did a lot
anyway,
of sweating today.
Yeah, it was a little warm. Anyway, pretty darn hot there. And well, all of a sudden you can't heat your home. I think I'd be upset if I were you. You can't drive your car. You can't get your snowblower to blow the snow off of your sidewalk so you can get in and out of your house. That's an issue.
I don't quite think as much as I think
5%. You're about to say
As
it.
much-
5% of the world's energy comes through that
Will
strait.
you listen to me? I was going to say I don't think that if something like that happened that would catastrophically cut off power or oil to us, that Ron Paul would just sit back and say,
Oh, that's a question then, Josh. So what do you think would happen? That's why I've been asking you. Ron Paul's president. What happens
If they cut off the strait,
if they shut it down, like they're trying to do now?
if they did it on their own with no provocation, if they did it,
Okay,
just
you're
went out
you're
and did
going
it,
back to that.
period.
I understand you're going.
Well,
I'm
they
talking
might-
about right now.
They might be
What's happening
now-
today?
Now, I'm not as versed in this as the two of you, but are they shutting down threatening to shut down the straits because they're pissed off that we're over there anyways?
That's one of the reasons.
That's
Yeah.
one of the reasons. But
So maybe.
So are you
maybe,
saying- so are
no,
you-
wait. First of all, what I'm saying is I don't know, but what I'm saying is what if what Ron Paul says is right? What if we pull back, maybe get our troops out of there? Maybe then Iran says, all right, well, we don't have any reason to shut down these streets anymore.
Or maybe if we just stop threatening that we're going to bomb them,
Right.
like few of the candidates that are running for the Republican nomination right now.
Yeah.
they're saying that if they get a nuclear weapon, they will be attacked.
That's not what he said.
That is what they're telling him. They're not saying we're going to bomb you just because we don't like you. Be honest, Josh. Why are they telling Iran that what they do not want them to have? What are they saying?
Who's telling Iran?
You just said that the Republican candidates are the ones saying they're going to bomb them. They're just going to bomb them because they don't like them? Why are they going to bomb them, Josh? Why do they threaten to bomb
Bachman and Santorum, just probably I think it was might have been the last Fox debate, I think December. They're saying that, there's no, we should go ahead and take care of them now, because if they do get a bomb, they're going to use it. Is that where do you agree with that?
No. That matter of fact, they said they just will not have a weapon, and our own president said that too.
No, but I
He
think
said it
that
through
what
Panetta.
Josh is saying is that the Republican candidates are saying that Iran is saying if they have a bomb, they will use it.
Yeah, they
Just
will.
like what you're saying.
And so is this.
I don't think they will,
So is
though.
the Democratic
I don't think they will.
leadership.
I don't think that they will, though.
I guess that's one of the main things is many people think that if Iran gets a nuclear weapon, they build it in secret, whatever. As soon as they get that capability, they're going to use it. They're either going to send it into the heart of Israel, or they're going to somehow bring it over to the United States. And good luck with that one. And they're going to let it go. That's.
Do you want to
that's
take that?
the-
You want to take that risk?
What?
Are you willing?
We're taking that risk every day anyways. That
are
risk is always
willing
there.
to allow a country who said they want us all dead. You're willing
No.
to take that risk.
Wait, let me cut you off here for a second, because Now, I'm starting to see a little bit of the light here.
Mm-hmm.
What if the reason why they're saying stuff like that is because we're over there?
You're not actually seeing the light.
No,
you
no,
know
no.
why they're saying that?
What I'm asking
you know why they're
what
saying
I'm asking
that?
you. What I'm asking you
Okay,
is
yes.
maybe all of the hostility from them we're causing. I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there. What if that's it?
Their main problem with the U.S., Josh, would you agree, is the fact that we support Israel?
That's one of the reasons.
I'm asking Maine.
Do you think that's the main reason?
Main reason, I'd say it's up there.
Yeah, it's definitely the main reason. And the reason why that's the main reason is they have been, this is well before we had a military presence. This is right after World War II. And since after World War II, when the English set aside Israel for the Israelites, and they pushed out the Palestinians, from that day on, it was when Iran said they were against the Axis. They call us the Axis, but we were the Allies. And the Allies at that time were England, United States, of course, France, because they can't do anything, and Australia. And they've been against us since those days. This is well before we had a military presence there that was there all the time. So
But
people want to.
But the other, one of the other reasons, it's not just Israel, but we've also meddled in their country.
In Iran?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, give us
the
some.
The CIA, took down Mossadegh, installed the Shah. Would that bother you if another country meddled in our affairs? Took out Bush or whatever, put in their own dictator, and said, okay, we're going to get rid of Bill of Rights, get rid of your Constitution, this is the way you're going to live.
Okay, well, then I have a question for you. I see what you just said. Let's go over the Shah. Now, did the Shah, was he just he never did anything against the U.S. for the CIA to go in there?
Never did anything against the U.S.?
I mean, that's what you're saying. You're saying that they were on their own, the Shah was on his own, and this.
He didn't say any of that. He didn't say any of that.
No, I'm asking a question then.
He said that.
You're not him. You don't tell me what he's saying.
But I'm listening. I'm sitting here too listening to what he says.
Okay,
You're saying
explain
different
the
things.
Shah. Explain the Shah of Iran. Explain what happened there, why the CIA got involved.
Probably because of the oil companies.
So it had nothing to do with the hijackings or the plane explosions or the Pan Am flight, or not Pan Am, the TWA that they blew up, the U.S. TWA plane. None of that had to do with why the CIA was there, although it hasn't been proven they were, but I'm sure they are. How none of that had to do with it. They went because they didn't like what?
Probably because the Mossadegh didn't like the royalties that the oil companies were giving them. No likelihood.
Okay, so it's again oil. So again, it was a trade for the trade. You see, the problem I have is the problem I have is, and it's not against you, Josh. It's against the fact that I don't want the U.S. to have to police the world. I don't. We've talked about this before.
We've talked about it for sure.
But the thing is, if we just say, hey, you know what? Let's just turn the other cheek. Let them do whatever they want. We're going to have another North Korea on our hands. And North Korea is a huge problem to the west coast of the United States. And the problem with Iran is they have more money, lots more money. So you let a country that has told that they will wipe Israel off the face of the earth, and this is well before the United States, well before the United States was even a country, that they have had the same idea. Muslims hated Jews since, 5,000 years. So you have that. Plus you have a country, you have the clerics that say they will kill every American. They want the streets to run red with their blood. It just doesn't seem to me like a logical idea to say, well, heck, give them the ability. And let's just say you guys won't do it because we trust you.
See, the way I view it is, if Iran did have a nuclear weapon, was it able to attach it to a missile and send it to Israel? What would the immediate response be from Israel and likely the United States?
They would bomb
Iran
them?
would be pretty much gone, right?
Right.
Okay, that's pretty much that's not even really a hypothetical. That's probably that's likely what would happen with a 99.9% certainty.
If they launched a
But-
nuclear weapon to Israel, they would be gone.
Right.
They would be
But
gone.
what
The
if they-
retaliation would
What
be
if they
severe.
were able to take that nuclear weapon that they were able not to launch, but somehow get it over there, blow it up, and then terrorists did it?
Well, then what? I mean,
that's
what,
that's the question to you, Josh.
yeah.
What happens then? What happens if they, they make the nuclear bomb, but we didn't go send it into the heart of Israel. Terrorists took it. I mean,
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing about nuclear material is, the IAEA can identify what radiation came from what country based on their nuclear facilities.
sure, but
So if they were to blow it up, and they would say, well, IAEA could go in there and say, well, this radioactive material came from this facility in Iran.
good. Then that's exactly where my next point is going to be.
Yeah.
You have a country like Iran. We keep going to Iran, but there's other countries that he has problems that we have issues with. You have a country like that is doesn't really have an extremely strong government to where they control their terrorist sects, because there is. Would you agree? There's terrorist sects in Iran, Josh?
Oh yeah, probably.
Okay. So, do you think the terrorist sects really care if the government of Iran gets blown to heck?
I think they would care, because it would mean their own. They would have skin in the game.
Well, but the question kind of is they well, it's interesting. If you know it's a different culture, but if you know that Muslim culture, they don't grieve like we do for death. And they feel that dying, no matter how you die, as long as you're dying in battle of a jihad, that you are going to
Right.
somehow become this,
Super stud.
in heaven. So to them,
They certainly don't look at death the same way we
No.
did, and we talked about this in the past. It's really tough to fight somebody like that.
It's very
who
tough to fight
actually,
somebody like that.
Not only do they not
So
want
I'm
to
not
die,
saying-
but they not. It's not that they don't want to die. They actually want to.
they want to. So I'm not saying
Well, and-
the
and see,
government.
that's one of the points that Stan Torm brought up in one of the last debates. The idea of mutually assured destruction doesn't work with Iran.
No, it
because
doesn't.
they would want to die.
Right.
Right.
But my main question is, if that's the case, what's stopping them right now? No nuclear missile. What's stopping them right now from sending conventional missiles into the heart of Israel?
Us
Us
But
being over there.
But they welcome martyrdom. So what's
That's a good
stopping
point.
them from doing that now?
That's a good point.
Yeah, actually, it is a pretty good point. I tell you what's stopping them. Us.
Yeah, but if what we were saying before, if they welcome the martyrdom, then why not just do it and let us go and blow them away?
Because
and
they
then
won't get enough death.
Yeah.
They won't get enough death.
You don't think it'll be worth it for them?
No,
They're
they
saving
want-
up for the big score.
They want the big score. They would be very willing to lose 2/3 of their country, the terrorist part of it, if they can take out a whole country like Israel. They would take that trade. But to
You
take
think
out 2 or 3 people, 200 or 300 people in Israel,
Well, probably-
they're not worth that. That's not a trade worth for them.
So
And
you
you know
think-
what happened, which is funny, actually during the Iran-Iraq war, was that, Saddam Hussein was disgusting. He used all kinds of mass weapons on them, chemical and biological, but it wasn't enough for them to they couldn't get enough of the Iraqis, at once. And that's why you didn't hear about a lot of terrorism stuff there. The terrorists want the most bang for the buck. And I'm telling you, if they would gladly trade 2/3 of their country if they could take out a whole country. Because that's
Is that
the
your
way to-
statistic, or is that?
no, that's just off. That's what I'm just saying. And what's funny is my cousin is Iranian. My cousin married an Iranian, and talking to their family, they're so happy to get out of there. Their son stayed there, and he's a radical. I mean, he's just radical, and he told them that or not their son, her father's brother, and told them straight out, they would kill them now that they're American. So it doesn't mean the same. It doesn't mean the same, like it does here. We, what we feel about our family and stuff. But anyway, Josh, that's that foreign policy on that. Is there any other things you can kind of try to persuade me with Ron Paul? Well, actually, how do you think he did in Iowa?
I don't think he did in Iowa.
Yeah. Which I can't understand why Iowa's a big deal.
Well,
Yeah.
technically, came in third in votes, but on the flip side, he tied for first with delegates. So that would be, I would consider that a three-way tie for a win.
Oh, I didn't realize that. He's getting the same amount of delegates as the other two guys?
Yeah, Romney, Santorum, and Paul, they all get 7 delegates each.
So that did all right then. He did all. Then what's the popular vote doesn't really matter. Winning by 8 votes, Romney over Santorum for 8 votes meant nothing.
8
No,
votes.
you don't get an extra delegate because you win the poll. So.
Yeah. Oh,
There's more. What's funny about Iowa, which I know everybody really goes crazy over it, and they actually have their early voting just so they can get so much information, so much stuff out there. But we have more people in El Cajon than the whole state.
Yeah, but it's funny how it was such a big deal, and then when they thought that Ron Paul had a shot at winning it, Fox News really changed their tune on that. I thought that was really funny.
Do you think Ron Paul is going to be the spoiler and allow the Democrats back in again this year? You think he's going to be the Ross Perot?
Well, there's only a few outcomes. And at this point, it's almost impossible to say what would happen. So, but with the proportional delegate system they have set up this time around, there's a good chance if Gingrich decides to stay in and the Santorum decides to stay in, and of course Paul's going to stay in because he's got the money and the supporters. I don't think there's going to be a clear majority, and I don't think there's a good chance Romney won't get the majority of the delegates. So it could go to a brokered convention. If not, Paul's he's not committing 100%, saying I'm going to run third party if I don't get in. He's kind of staying on the sidelines of that debate. But if he decides not to run third party, the other alternative would probably be Gary Johnson, the former governor of New Mexico. It wouldn't surprise me if Paul threw his support behind Johnson and told support to go to him. And the other thing is, I don't know if you've heard of it, it's an organization called Americans Elect. It's an organization that's trying to get a third-party ballot access in all 50 states. In fact, they just recently got California. They had something like 1.6 million signatures to get on the ballot. So, but they're kind of interesting because I believe what they do is when the voting goes on to choose the candidate for Americans Elect, whoever wins that, their running mate has to be of a different party. So if they choose a Republican, their vice presidential candidate needs to be an independent or a Democrat.
Wow.
Or a Green Party or whatever.
Interesting.
So that's shaping up to be another third party spoiler. So it's really hard to say. It's still fluid right now. So.
Now, I guess Michelle Bachmann, she bowed out, right? She suspended or she ended her campaign.
So we'll see who she throws hers.
Who gets the crazy votes that were going to her?
Well, definitely
That's
not.
probably Santorum.
You think Santorum? Yeah.
That's Santorum or
Yeah.
Romney.
I'm looking at the numbers here from Iowa, and there was 58 idiots who still voted for Herman Cain. I thought that was pretty funny.
Why are they idiots? Why are they any more than the people who vote for Ron Paul?
Oh, because I know that you were a Cain guy, so I wanted
guy.
to throw that in there.
I was.
You know?
I liked him because he was self-made, and he actually, was smart. Well,
I'm not sure about that. He didn't do anything to prove that. That's for sure.
Sure, he did a hell of a lot more in his life than you did.
All right. I'm not running for president.
Yeah, but you don't do anything, and you turn around and you can complain
That's
about
what I'm
somebody
here.
like him.
That's what I'm here for.
I know.
I don't have.
Josh,
you don't have
is
to
there-
have done it to come
Is there
to
anything
judge
else
it.
that you want to try to persuade us with Ron Paul?
I don't know. Do you have any other things on foreign policy, like the war on terror or anything else? Or
Well, the war on terror, that's straight. Look, we were attacked, They hate us. You know they hate us. You're not going to turn around and say kumbaya with them because they don't do that.
One thing that he's real strong on is border security.
Yeah.
He's really, really strong on that.
I do have a question for you. Do you, because you said you followed Ron Paul in the early 2000s, right? Mid to early 2000s?
No, mid to late 2000s.
Yeah, like
mid to late, oh, okay.
07.
I thought you said 04.
07. No, 07.
07, oh, all right, sorry. What do you think about some of the questions coming out there? Now, I'm not saying he is or not. I'm just asking you if that maybe he is a little bit, I don't want to say racist, but has some issues.
Was it from that was it like a publication that he was part of or something?
Yeah.
That was, I think he said it was ghostwritten or something, didn't he?
Well, he said that he didn't write it, but he didn't retract it either.
Right.
So anyway, so what do you think?
No, he totally disavowed those newsletters. Well, those certain sections. I mean, and the way I look at it is I kind of believe him just simply because if you look at actually like the books he's written, the bills he's tried to pass, everything speeches on the floor. I mean, there's no tinge of racial discrimination there I've ever seen. So even when I first heard about those letters, 7 years ago or so, when I first started following them, I just like this. Doesn't jive. It doesn't. I mean, he's actually said that if he becomes president, he'll pardon all all basically non-violent drug offenders.
Right. He's really against the war on drugs. He wants to. He opposes the federal war on drugs.
If he was a true racist, and we all know, I mean, we can look up the statistics, but
we have.
A majority of non-violent drug offenders in the prison system are African Americans. I mean, that's just a fact. So if he was anywhere near being a racist, that's something you would think you would want to keep him in there.
Right.
And so, I mean, that's so if you go from there, it's, I don't know. I mean, I have an idea who their ghostwriter may have been for some of those things, but it's not for sure.
Was that for a
I'm not even sure if he'll ever say it, or even if he even knows, so it's hard to say.
Was it it was a publication that he owned? Was that?
He was the editor, right?
He was editor of it?
Well, he was like the publisher.
Yeah.
And he had different ones.
Yeah.
Like the ones he did write were like on economics and other things like that, but certainly not. I personally, I mean, I'm somewhat biased towards Paul, but keeping an open mind, I just can't see him writing, all the racial slurring and other items like that.
So you did say one thing, and I don't want to. I think we're running a little long here, but you did say all the laws he tried to pass. Do you know how many he actually got passed in his 21 years, or 20 somewhat years actually, right?
Boy, I'm not too sure. I mean, it's probably you can count on your hand.
Yeah, one. So that kind of makes me wonder. So what is it? Is it that his views are not exactly what the rest are, or was a lot of the laws that he put forward? And I'm asking you this. I don't know. Were a lot of these laws that he put forward just kind of oddball, or did they not have merit? I mean, I'm just asking again. I mean, I know a few of them were kind of weird, but not. I mean, I only know a handful. So.
Well, I don't think any were weird or off the wall. I mean, you can actually go online and look at all the Congress people's records on bills they put forth, and you can just kind of scan through them and see what he's written.
There was something about a cat law. I remember that, but I don't remember. Like I said, I don't know them very well. I just know that I just went by record, and he only was able to pass one. So. In the time that he was in there, so.
What do you know? What? How long was he in? He was in the House of Representatives. How long was he in there?
Long time.
Do you know what off and on over the last 30 years?
Do you know what the average amount of laws that a member would pass? I mean, do we have anything to compare? Because you keep throwing that number one out there, but
I'll just throw this out there. One of my friends, one of my really good friends, and actually you guys went to high school with them as well. Duncan Hunter has only been in office 2 years. He's got a law, so
So he's got one so far. So now they're tied.
Yeah,
Okay.
in less than 2 years.
Yeah, but what if Ron Paul passed that one law his second year too?
Yeah, and that was it. He just shut down.
Well, or nothing else. Nobody would. Maybe he had. Maybe he didn't want to go with the
I
status
like
quo.
the fact that you're playing devil's advocate.
I don't know. I don't know.
On average, after 20 years,
Yeah.
I think one is low.
Okay.
I mean, maybe I'm guessing, but I'm thinking one is kind of low on average.
I'm looking for.
Yeah, and I was gonna say the other thing you gotta look at too is it's not just bills that are passed, because some of those bills are just resolutions or a sense of the Senate, things that are just have no relevancy to our lives.
Well, but it's their job. That's what they're supposed to do as.
They have a list here of the bills that he sponsored, and the bills that he co-sponsored, and the amendments that he co-sponsored. All of that type of stuff, and the numbers are pretty high. I don't know if that means anything.
Yeah, sponsoring is good. Sponsoring is good.
Because
you have to get sponsors for a bill.
Right.
You can't just have it. It's very hard to run it by yourself.
I mean, 2007 through 2008, he sponsored. He original bills co-sponsored by him were 160. That seems pretty high.
That's good. And how many of those passed?
It doesn't say.
Yeah.
All bills co-sponsored that year was actually 443.
And how many passed?
Doesn't say.
Yeah. All right, Josh. Well, I appreciate you calling in anyway. I guess it's an agree to disagree.
You're going to get that with him. He's so stubborn. He'll never change his views on anything.
Well,
I do appreciate.
How could you possibly change your views on this guy?
I've learned.
Yeah,
I've learned.
Huh?
I have friends that are the same way. It's like I'm getting talked to her blue in the face, and we're not going to change each other's minds. And I'm totally cool with that.
Yeah. Well, that's
I'm not someone that's gonna, I'm gonna force my view down your throat and say, you know what, you're stupid if you don't believe. So.
I was talking to somebody in the grocery store about something like this, and basically said there's room enough for all of us here.
Yeah.
And you and I fight this every single episode. Neither one of us change our mind. But we have a whole lot of fun talking about it.
We do, and I do appreciate you coming on. And give me your prediction for this time next year, since the election will be over by then.
That's almost impossible right now. I would say, realistically, Obama will probably win.
Yeah,
Yay.
I think you're onto something there.
Yay!
I think it's just there's going to be I think this year we're going to have a strong third party. As far as who it's going to be, it's hard to say at this point. And if they can pull in 10-15%, then it'll probably go towards Obama.
Yeah.
Well, like I keep saying, I'm rooting for Ron Paul to get the Republican nomination because Fat Man will not vote for him. And
Nope.
once he doesn't vote for him, he's got to shut up for 4 years and he can't say nothing because he didn't vote.
All right. I'll write in Herman Cain. All right, Josh. Thank you very much for coming on the show with us, and we really appreciate your time.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Josh. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
All right, we'll talk to you later.
Well, folks, that was Josh from Michigan. So, hey. He didn't change my mind, little boy.
No, he wasn't going. I didn't think he was going to. I wanted to have somebody who had a different perspective.
Yeah.
Because I don't know that much about Ron Paul. I really don't, except that I love the fact that he's going to shut you up for 4 years if he gets the nomination.
I know.
Which it looks like he probably won't, but, you never know.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because I know you were hoping that they would be able to blast me upside down together, but foreign policy is my strong suit.
He just had a different view. He just had a different view on it. And, I'm going to be honest with you. I hear what your view is constantly.
Yeah.
And I heard his side of it, and for me, I'm somewhere kind of in the middle. I can see merit almost, and maybe Iran's hostility towards us is because we're over there. That's not all of it. But you never know. You never know. Who knows if we pulled out a little bit, maybe things might get a little bit better.
Yeah, but
You
if
know?
they didn't, you'd be in a lot of trouble.
Yeah,
That's the problem.
Yeah, that you're right.
That's
that
the problem.
You're taking a chance.
You're taking a huge chance, and I don't want to take a chance with my life or my children's
life.
life.
Not many people want to, so.
Ladies and gentlemen, we wanted to thank you for watching our show.
Yes.
And sorry again we go late, but
As
it's
usual.
an interesting show.
I really wanted to talk about those recess appointments, man. We can't do it. We'll talk about next week.
week. Yeah, I got so much to talk
Okay,
about it,
good.
but
Shut up. We'll talk about
anyway,
next
please check out our other shows. You can go to PMLB Media, as I've said before,
Yes.
.com and see a list of the shows there,
Yes.
or head over to our website and you'll see the PMLB logo
Yes.
in going off memory, the right-hand side.
Yep, it's a really, really neat design on that logo. I was checking that out
You
today.
like
It looks
it?
very cool.
That was my
Very cool.
idea. Thank you. All right. So if you need to get in touch with me, you could always get me at fatman@fatmanandlittleboy.com.
I'm at littleboy@fatmanandlittleboy.com.
You can get me on Twitter at fatmanshow.
And I'm at littleboyshow.
You can send us a email just to the show at comments@fatmanandlittleboy.com.
Yep, and you can also call us at 858-522-9164.
And we want to thank this week.
Also, we are now in the Zune marketplace. I know not a lot of you have the Windows Phone or the Zune, but if you do go to the Zune marketplace, our podcast is in there now. They accepted it.
That's why we need a tech show, people, because a Zune. I didn't even make the Zune anymore.
No, but I have a Windows Phone now, and it has Zune.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is our podcast for the first week of January 2012.
Yes, first
And
one.
We will see you real soon.
Take care.